WTOK TV, this is News Center 11.
New questions tonight about the death of a man in Stonewall last month, what the NAACP is asking tonight.
And breaking news this evening, there will apparently be a new Chiefs race in Choctaw after a tribal council decision just moments ago.
News Center 11 at 6 starts now.
Good evening, I'm Candace Barnett.
And I'm Wade Phillips. That news came down just a couple of moments ago from the Choctaw Tribal Council. The council throwing out the results of last month's Chiefs election. That
means we will soon have another race between the incumbent Phyllis Anderson and former Chief Beasley Denson. Philadelphia Bureau reporter Lindsay Jennings has been in the council deliberations all day today. She joins us live now from Choctaw with the latest on what's happening. Lindsay, what can you tell us?
Thanks, Wade. Candace, the tribal council hearing has just ended. They voted on all complainants as one. The election was overturned with a 9-to-8 ratio. There will be another election for chief. Beasley Denson lost to incumbent Chief Phyllis Anderson in June. He has challenged the results, citing multiple grievances. There were 11 complainants, including Denson. Anderson states that not one complainant came forward and said they changed their vote because of it. A majority of the complainants were concerned with absentee votes, which Anderson says would not have made a difference. The Tribal Election Committee found all complainants were common election occurrences. Anderson adjourned the meeting by stating it's a democracy and to get ready for the upcoming race. In Neshoba County, Lindsay Jennings, News Center 11.
All right, thanks a lot, Lindsay, reporting live tonight from Choctaw with that breaking news.
Now here are the results from that last Chiefs race. You can see Anderson won by about 160 votes, getting about 52% of the vote. Well, a fourth person has been arrested in a recent murder in Choctaw County. Sheriff Scott Lawley says Jacques Clark was arrested earlier today in Jefferson County. He's charged with capital murder in the death last month of Clayton Bryant in Ward. Investigators say Bryant walked in on the group burglarizing his home and was shot. Clark is expected to be brought back to Choctaw County soon.
Alabama officials aren't commenting on a firing that has led to weeks of protest in Choctaw County. That group has been protesting the firing of Cheryl McGrew by the circuit clerk's office there for more than 3 weeks. Circuit Clerk Stephanie Cave says the administrative office of the courts in Alabama handles such issues. That office said today that they do not comment on personnel matters related to employees, either past or present. Local daycare needs your help in locating a burglary suspect. Take a look at this surveillance video. It shows a person in a mask breaking into Kids World Learning Academy on 24th Avenue yesterday. The Meridian Police Department says the burglar gained entry through a window. The suspect is also wearing a light-colored hoodie with gloves, has a stick. If you have any information, you can call Crime Stoppers. That number is 855-485-TIPS.
Now, News Center 11 weather with Chief Meteorologist Brian Hutton Jr.
Well, scattered storms have been with us throughout the day today, and they're continuing to move to the south and still producing plenty of lightning and thunder out there. Vibration radar tracking those storms for us. And again, they are working off to the south and east. They will be exiting through the evening hours, and behind that, rain chances drop as we head through the weekend as high pressure returns. We are heading back to the upper 90s. Complete details are in your 7-day forecast in just a couple of minutes. Wade?
All right, thanks a lot, Brian. It may be hard to believe, but summer vacation is quickly coming to an end for most local students. Once the new school year starts, the Meridian Public School District is planning to implement some strategies that will continue to help improve its graduation rate.
9th and 10th grade are the hardest years. If we can get them past those 2 years, then the probability of them graduating jumps to 80–90%.
The latest numbers show that Meridian High's graduation rate for May was on track to have a double-digit jump to 76%. You can see 4 years ago, that rate was in the low to mid 60% range. Now the current dropout rate is about 20%. Candace?
The family of a man who died in the Neshoba County Jail earlier this month is having an independent autopsy performed. Rex Del Henry died in the jail on July 14th. His body has been taken to Florida for examination by a board-certified pathologist before his funeral this weekend. The state has not yet released the results of the autopsy done on Henry following his death. Henry is the second person this year to die in jail.
With the latest on the death of a man in an incident with a Stonewall police officer last month.
As we told you earlier this week, the NAACP is asking for an independent investigation into the death of Jonathan Sanders. Tonight, they're saying more about why they want that investigation. The NAACP is continuing to push for more information in the investigation into Jonathan Sanders' death. Officials requested an independent investigation just a couple of days ago. Now they're asking that the officer involved be tested for drugs, specifically steroids.
We know for a fact that there had been a problem with steroid use within police department.
Bill Reedy Jr., the attorney for Officer Kevin Harrington, says his client was taken to the hospital to be tested for drugs and alcohol the night of Sanders' death, which is standard procedure for an officer involved in a claim of excessive force or death. Reedy tells me off camera, quote, "This is nothing other than a typical unwarranted claim to stir up or obtain news coverage. I know this case is already being investigated by independent agencies since MBI, with the assistance of the FBI, is already investigating." He went on to say that if this was a situation where the Stonewall Police Department was investigating itself, he would be standing there demanding an independent investigation.
We don't have the technology or the manpower to check all of those things out.
But the NAACP released a statement saying it wants an outside inquiry separate from the MBI and FBI, complete with a background check, mental health evaluation, and drug test of Officer Harrington.
And so we are in support of the policemen. But when you got bad apples, those bad apples got to be rooted out.
The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation is leading the investigation into Sanders' death. They say they're waiting on a final autopsy report before saying anything about the case, but they won't say when that report will be available. The biggest week of the year in Neshoba County is underway. Why this year's fair is going to be a big one, coming up on News Center 11 at 6.
And next, a local candidate is answering questions tonight about a domestic violence conviction and how that has affected his recent police work.
Temperatures are on the way up as we work through the weekend. Your forecast is after checking the rivers.
You're watching News Center 11 at 6 with Wade Phillips and Candace Barnett.
Local candidate for supervisor is facing questions tonight about a domestic violence conviction. That candidate for Lauderdale County supervisor is speaking out about that conviction, in which News Center 11's obtained documents.
Cornelius Parks was convicted of domestic violence in the Justice Court of Kemper County in August of 2011. And tonight he's shedding some light on the situation amidst his run for office. Aaron Morrison has the story.
Court documents obtained by News Center 11 show that Lauderdale County Supervisor candidate for District 2, Cornelius Parks, was convicted of domestic violence in Kemper County in August of 2011. He is currently working to reverse the dismissal of that domestic violence. And when asked about the incident, Parks had this to say.
If we pull back the curtains on your life and several other people's life, whether you're married or not, whether you're in some type of relationship, it's going to be skeletons in the closet. Again, some are documented, some are not. So again, this is a political move. When I signed up to run for this, I expected some things to come out.
An attorney with the Lauderdale County DA says in his opinion, under federal law, anyone convicted of domestic violence cannot own or operate a gun. That's according to the Lautenberg Amendment. In September of 2014, Parks was hired as a police officer at East Central Community College in Decatur until his resignation on Monday, where he says in a letter to Chief John Harris that due to unforeseen emergencies involving his transportation and adequate child care, he will have to resign effective immediately. Parks wouldn't say if he carried a gun while employed at ECCC.
And we're not going to discuss anything in my personal life. That's something in the past. It's freedom. You have the Freedom of Information Act. If anybody want to know anything about my past, they can go up and get those documents, as some have. We're not here to discuss that. Those matters was in the courts, and one matter is still in the courts. And therefore, you go do a trip-out background on my record, you're not going to find anything on there.
ECCC told News Center 11 that officers hired do in fact carry a gun while on duty. In response to the domestic violence conviction that Cornelius Parks has, he simply states that it has nothing to do for his running of public office.
It has nothing to do for the reason why I'm running for Supervisor District 2. Again, all marriages, all relationships have setbacks. Again, some are documented and some are not documented.
In Lauderdale County, Aaron Morrison, News Center 11.
Parks is one of 3 people running for the Democratic nomination in that District 2 supervisor's race. Randall Jennings and Craig Houston are the other 2. All right, now, Brian, it's been kind of stormy out lately.
Yeah.
It has, thanks to a front that's working through the area. We'll be exiting this evening, so rain will come to an end and dry out and warm up. The only other option we have this time of year, that's what's going to happen for us as we head through the weekend. Southern Electric Power Radar tracking those showers and storms. They are continuing to dive southward this evening, and they will keep doing so. And notice most northern locations are now dry. Still some leftover showers on portions of Neshoba County, and that also stretches over towards the state line as well along the Kemper-Sumter County line. Vibration radar again tracking those storms working off to the south and east. And it was a nice big complex a little bit earlier through Neshoba County and the northern portions of Newton County. That is actually starting to fizzle out as it moves further south and gets to locations that have seen rain a little bit more recently. But it is raining at Enterprise, Stonewall, and that stretches up towards Energy, then back towards Rose Hill and entering Pachuta into portions of Clark County and also in Jasper County. So get some nice thunder and lightning out there for us, and a lot of rain in locations that have seen it. Keyfield almost an inch, and this is really just in about the last 12 hours or so. So plenty of rain has fallen across the area, much needed rain also falling across the area. Now in the Queen City on our Alpha Insurance Skycam, skies are attempting to clear on the backside of that storm just a little bit, and we will see a little bit of clearing as we head through the rest of the evening and the overnight hours. Made it to 90 degrees today, so our streak is intact. About 17 now straight days at 90 or higher. Started off at 73, and as I just showed you, about an inch has fallen officially now at the airport. Temperature sitting at 78 now. In the Queen City, dew points holding at 73, and a lot of rain-cooled locations on the board. 93 in Laurel, one of our current warm spots. 89 Butler, 87 for both Livingston and also Demopolis. Compared to this time yesterday, we are 15 degrees cooler. Really, the only locations that are cooler, locations that have seen rain today. And that rain is really our only kind of saving grace, or we would have made it again back into the middle and maybe even lower to middle 90s across the area. So all in all, those rain showers are going to come to an end as we continue through the evening hours. As we head into our Saturday, we'll start off with mostly clear skies. We'll see isolated showers trying to fire through the afternoon hours, a lot less in coverage than what we saw today, but can't rule out an isolated storm or two. We'll make it again into the middle 90s. We'll really clear out as we head into Sunday as high pressure returns and basically drops rain chances to 0. So 73 tonight. Storms are on their way out. Otherwise, clouds will hang with us through the overnight hours. For your Saturday, we'll make it a 95 with lots of sunshine. And again, can't rule out an isolated storm. Heat index creeps back towards 100 degrees through the afternoon, and that'll keep going up from there. 96 on Sunday, 97 Monday. That is the warmest day of the next 7. Then we start heading in the right direction. 95 Tuesday. Isolated storms for us Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday as we drop back to 90 degrees by the time we hit Friday. And looking forward to next weekend, we looking pretty confidently we could be talking about 80s for high temperatures for the first time since the 6th of July.
Love it. I'm sure it won't last long.
No, probably a day, but we'll take it while we have it.
All right, thanks
as
a lot.
long as we can. Well, Mississippi's Giant House Party is underway, and organizers say so far, so good.
Yeah, the Neshoba County Fair kicked off this morning. Over the next 8 days, thousands of people will enter the gates of the fairgrounds for a week of fun, food, and fellowship, much of it taking place in the 600-plus cabins that are found on the fairgrounds. Organizers say they're expecting an especially big year this year.
If you look back through history, it is the big year for the Neshoba County Fair because of the politics. Everybody that's running for state office that's in the major parties is going to speak at the Neshoba County Fair either Wednesday or Thursday.
The fair will wrap up next Friday night at midnight. Well, Bluebell could begin selling ice cream again soon. What they're doing now, coming up on News Center 11 at 6.
And next, State Auditor Stacey Pickering responds to questions about how he's spending campaign money. Headlines around Mississippi now. State Auditor Stacey Pickering says all his campaign finances are above board, responding to allegations about illegal use of campaign money. The Clarion Ledger newspaper is reporting that the FBI is investigating misuse of campaign funds by Pickering. He says questions about them are based on half-truths and being put out there by political foes. Pickering says all the money he's spent for his campaign can be found in his campaign finance reports. And organizers are starting to gather signatures for a Mississippi term limits proposal. Initiative 51 says a person could serve no more than 2 consecutive terms in a statewide office or in the state house or senate. After skipping at least 1 4-year term, the person could seek the same office again. Organizers say the 1-year signature gathering process started Thursday. Mississippians defeated term limits initiatives in 1995 and 1999.
Now to news around Alabama. Bluebell started ice cream production trial runs in Alabama 3 months after a listeria scare halted all sales. The company says it's evaluating the enhanced production processes at its Sylacauga Bluebell plant earlier this month. They notified federal and Alabama health officials of plans for test production. The runs began Wednesday. Bluebell's not said when sales will resume. Bluebell products were linked to 10 listeria illnesses in 4 states, including 3 deaths. All right, Lindsay's in now with a look at sports. What you got for us, Lindsay?
News not good out of Hattiesburg concerning the Southern Miss basketball team as it faces serious allegations by the NCAA. Ole Miss lands a big-time commitment from Tennessee, plus some MSU football legends. Golf for a good cause today in Meridian. Former Brave John Smoltz set for a Hall of Fame induction this weekend. That story coming up. Welcome back in, everyone. The NCAA says Southern Mississippi's men's basketball program and former coach Donnie Tyndall have committed multiple violations in a notice of allegations released by the school late this afternoon. The charges include arranging fraudulent academic credit, impermissible financial aid, and obstructing the NCAA's investigation. In all, there were 7 alleged Level 1 violations in the NCAA's 43-page notice. Tyndall went 56-17 in his 2 years at USM before leaving for Tennessee in 2014. The school has 90 days to respond to that notice. Now, some recruiting news where Ole Miss today landed a verbal commitment from 4-star offensive tackle Bryce Matthews out of Brentwood Academy in Nashville. Tennessee's number 3 ranked player, according to 247 Sports, had offers from a number of programs, including Bama, Clemson, Michigan, Ohio State, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. The 6'6", 285-pounder is the 4th offensive line commit for the Rebels in 2016. Ole Miss now has 18 commitments for next year's class and is ranked 8th nationally by rivals. Well, 3 legendary Mississippi State quarterbacks came to Meridian today to show off their golfing skills for this year's 4th annual MSU's Alumni Golf Tournament hosted by the Lauderdale County chapter. The tournament helps fund scholarships for area kids to continue their education at state. Briarwood Golf Club hosted the event, which featured former QBs Rocky Felker, Sleepy Robinson, and John Bond. There was a complimentary lunch as well as prize giveaways, all for a good cause and a chance to bring Bulldog fans together.
Really just a great time for our alumni to get together, and everybody's excited about the season. You know, we start practicing in about a week, and our fans mean so much to us, and particularly coming off the kind of year we had last year. So it's a lot of excitement, and we're undefeated right now.
We in Mississippi should know better than anybody else that education's where it's at. Any way we can advance that, we need to do it.
It's always exciting when you get a bunch of Mississippi State folks around. And the game of golf, it doesn't ruin it, but it's a lot of fun, and it is a great cause.
Now, before teeing off, former MSU quarterback and current recruiting coach Sleepy Robinson gave his take on Mississippi State's lower preseason rankings.
I tell people all the time, if someone could predict that from start to the finish, they'll be a multi-billionaire. So, we started off in the same position last year, so we're just going to go out and prove ourselves just as well as we did last year. Yeah.
Robinson, along with Bond and Felker, think Dak Prescott is the key to a successful season. Well, the 20th race of the 2015 Sprint Cup season will take place this weekend at Indianapolis with the annual running of the Brickyard 400. Jeff Gordon, who hasn't won a race this season, leads all active drivers with 5 victories at Indy and is the defending champion. His teammate Jimmy Johnson is second in wins with 4. Qualifying takes place Saturday morning with the race on Sunday. Meantime, Gordon has been presented with Indiana's highest civilian award and became an honorary member of his hometown police department in Pittsboro, Indiana. 4-time NASCAR champ will be racing in his final Brickyard Sunday. Gordon, who currently sits 10th in the point standing, still needs a victory to guarantee a spot in this year's chase for the championship. A former Atlanta Braves pitcher John Smoltz will be formally inducted into baseball's Hall of Fame Sunday. He becomes the first pitcher to make the Hall of Fame after undergoing Tommy John surgery, having his elbow rebuilt in 2000. Smoltz is the only player in Major League history to record more than 200 wins and over 150 saves. He helped lead the Braves to a staggering 13 straight division titles, including the 1995 World Series championship.
But what made us unique and made my career unique is I went back to starting and didn't miss a beat after 4.5 years. And I think when you throw everything in the hopper and you look at my career with a fine-tuned microscope, you see that my words matched my actions, that I really didn't care about the Hall of Fame or play for the Hall of Fame. I cared about winning a championship. And fortunately, we got one, but thought it was going to be multiple.
This year's 4-player Hall of Fame class also includes Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, and Craig Biggio. And in the last hour, Quentin Linton, a standout from Meridian High School, has committed to the University of Florida. Ashley with more on that tonight at 10.
Sounds good. Thanks, Lindsay.
Okay.
Well, experts say reading to your child is one of the very best things you can do for them.
Next on News Center 11 at 6, how your child can get a free book a month in the mail.
And the final check of your 7-day forecast is after the break.
Now back to our breaking news. We'll have an update on the Tribal Council overturning the runoff election for Choctaw Chief and more about what went into that decision. That story is tonight at 10.
And finally this evening, if you have a child aged 5 years or below, they could be receiving free books addressed to them and sent right to their mailbox. Dolly Parton's Imagination Library is a program that starts at the age of a newborn and ends when the child turns 5. The children will receive about 60 books, starting with the classic The Little Engine That Could, ending with Look Out Kindergarten, Here I Come. United Way of East Mississippians, a champion of the program in our area, finds it important to encourage reading at an early age.
This program allows the parents to have that time each month with their kids, and it exposes them to reading where it becomes incorporated into their lifestyle at a very early age, where they grow an appreciation for it.
To find out more about Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, including how you can sign your child up for that free program, you can go to WTOK.com and click on this story. All right, Brian is here now. He has a final look at our forecast. What you have, Brian?
Storm chances decrease as we head through the weekend as high pressure returns. 95 tomorrow is an isolated storm. 96 Sunday, 97 Monday, 95 Tuesday, and typical Neshoba County fair weather. Hot, very hot.
Humid.
And rain chances return Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As highs get back down to 90 by Friday.
And if it rains, it will pour.
Yes.
As it did already.
As it did already.
All right, that's all the time we have. Thank you.
Be sure to join us right here at 10 o'clock.